Whisper Podcast. It's the whisper. This is the ASMR. Oregon State. We're doing good. Do you hear? It's the gales of November. We are not whispering. We are here in full volume. That would have been very cumbersome to try and pull.
I couldn't do it.
But
no, JP could not.
The winds of November. Happy 50th anniversary to the Edmund Fitzgerald, which I mentioned on the pod last week. The gales of November have come slashing, come thrashing, came early, came late, stealing, all kinds of things. But it could not further delay this, the 196th episode of the Belligerent Beavs podcast, an episode proudly presented. New sponsor drop. New sponsor alert, new ad read alert, David Case, principal broker, Windermere, Jacksonville. Come on down, buddy. New sponsor.
Let's go.
Titular sponsor, presenting sponsor, top of the episode, David Case. Congrats.
You say tits?
Titular.
Yeah, what was that word?
Titular. Like, wait, if, God, I need...
It's like a thumbnail.
It's like a thumbnail.
Yeah.
We're
not doing this again.
Titular. So, like, when a band has an album that's just the name of the band, that's like a titular album.
These chicks don't even know the name of my band.
And D12, did D12 have an album that was just called D12?
Yeah.
This is the entire so that's like a titular.
That was their only album.
So it's like...
No, they had another one. They had Devil's Night.
They have like 100 albums that you can only get on like... You can only buy out of Cadillacs in Detroit or get on datpiff.com. If you've never been to datpiff.com...
No.
It's still active. It's one of my favorite websites.
Yeah.
It's the...
What? Dat Piff?
It's the mixtape. It's like the mixtape.
Yeah.
Mecca online.
SoundCloud didn't take that over?
It may have, but it's still it's still operating under Dat Piff.
Nice.
Our rap songs on SoundCloud.
Yeah, I bet it is.
We might make more rap songs, as this is the first. We're all in person. It might sound like we're on Riverside.fm. Speaking of SoundCloud rappers, but we are in person.
These are virtual backgrounds.
Brand new, the brand new Belligerent Beavs podcast studios at an disclosed location in Sheridan, Wyoming, courtesy of Belligerent Beavs LLC. You can't find us, but we're here. The Anonymous.
We have replicated
in all kinds of
setups and rooms.
Totally non-nefarious business dealings in Sheridan, Wyoming. I smoked pot with Sheridan, Wyoming. I was dropping that reference that I smoked pot with Johnny Hopkins. It feels like it's been months since Oregon State football lost to Sam Houston State, the mighty Bearcats of Sam Houston State. But what got me through that entire second half was just scoffing and going, I smoked pot with Sammy Houston, which... wasn't funny the first time to the non-Beaver fans I was with on Saturday night, and it wasn't funny the 37th time either. A very devastating, well, I guess not devastating, but a very...
devastating.
Sure.
Annoying.
A loss nonetheless. The football team's losing to Sam Houston State, as I just mentioned, but Oregon State men's and women's hoops can't lose, baby.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And maybe we'll talk about this later on, but I was traveling early this morning, so I didn't have a chance to watch it last night. So I'm really interested to hear your guys' take on the game. It sounded like it was pretty interesting at the end.
Long story short, we shouldn't have won. I'm not saying it's too
long story short.
That's too
really
crude for me. When it's too crude for me. Long story short, we won. And we should not have won. How many times has that applied to Oregon State men's basketball? Snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. It's like Groundhog's Day. I was shocked. Shocked, I say. But as it stands,
good shock.
Your Oregon State Beavers, 3-0, with a Civil War basketball game coming up at Matthew Knight Arena on Monday night, which will be
Oregon does not look great.
Not look great. They're both 3-0. I've got a really stiff bet lunch at Chipotle on the line with a Duck fan I know.
Oh,
you can't
lose everything over this, Terry.
We're also playing in fantasy football this week too in another league, so I have a double. It's actually 2 Chipotles, so it's like $22.
Why 2?
Because
so you have 2 bets with the same person.
I'm playing said Duck fan in fantasy football, and it will come to an end at about the same time because there's Monday Night Football involvement as well, which will be happening concurrently.
Oh, okay.
So it's a double or nothing. That's it's like a $40 bet because of inflation, tariffs.
Come on, we could have used that.
Yeah, Terry.
We could have used that for our public records request.
We don't need it. David Case, principal broker, Windermere, Jacksonville, and all the other generous people who donated. I think this is a good time to talk about the GoFundMe for our records request. Did we break the record for the quickest GoFundMe goal realization in the history of GoFundMe?
I don't know. There might be people out there who had like $1 GoFundMe just for the hell of it.
Just for fun. Yeah.
Definitely the quickest GoFundMe to reach goal for a records request for a university that is allegedly corrupt.
When you started, when the Vikings made it to the NFC Championship in 2017 and you had let's start the Get Terry to the Super Bowl GoFundMe just in case they won the NFC title game, I think that would have taken longer.
I even had a website. I think I owned Get Terry to the Super Bowl.com.
You did
for like a year. Yeah.
Bring that back. And then the Vikings will go on some crazy run, and then we'll meet the Niners in the NFC Championship, and that will be we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I don't know if that's gonna happen, boys. For either
we
of
won't
us.
cross it.
But shout out to everyone who donated.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
Huge shout out.
Everyone who donated anything, obviously, David Case and JP individual of the other hefty donation. We got Gary Koval.
Yeah, Gary Cowell, but also just really anybody that brought anything to it all, because we made it to a goal with 20 donors, and I know there were people ready and willing to also contribute, whether it was more after making a contribution already or we're planning on it, but then we just hit goal. Like, I mean, thanks to DJ Case, like we just kind of came out of nowhere and got to what we're trying to do. And even the people who didn't donate, I mean, there were so many people sharing about it, talking about it, across social media.
So if the
ton of bots,
if the Twitter charity bot, I'm very moved by this. And I'm like,
then you go look and you're like, you're retweeting everything.
Tell me you're a bot
that's
without
GoFundMe
telling me you're
link.
a bot. Yeah. Very moved.
And you have a GoFundMe link in your bio.
DM me to chat more about this. I will donate $30,000, but I need you to deposit $30,000 first into my offshore bank account.
Yeah,
and then
do that. Just send me your routing number, and I'll take care of the rest.
It's for a Nigerian prince.
Right. Yeah, my name is B. Blaylock. I live in Sheridan, Wyoming.
I don't know. That just could get us sued, Terry.
Okay,
worse than Russia coming after us for Miley Cyrus.
No, I mean
that was bad. When Russia came after us, I thought that was the worst.
Yeah, Putin,
the worst of our legal, our legal turmoils.
Nothing
Brent
came of
is
it,
sitting there telling Russia to hold his beer.
Say that Russia was Putin us on.
No.
And that does it for this episode of the Belligerent Beavs podcast. Anyway, all right. So I want to talk ball a little bit too, but I think we should sort of touch on this a little bit. What happens now, JP? What are the next steps? Because if Oregon State ends up not playing ball and these funds don't go to use, we are fully just refunding everybody.
Yeah, well, of course, but they also they have to play ball. They're legally obligated to play ball.
Sure,
and
but if they just come back and like they have played ball, but if I don't know. You say things.
If they redact everything, Okay, so let's say they redact everything. Well, then we're out. And I think that says a lot, right? Like if everything has been blocked from public access, even though it's a public record that they're supposed to provide in a relatively timely fashion that we paid an extraordinary amount for, we as in Beaver Nation, that would be bad. That would be a bad look. It would be bad for everybody. But I think at this point, Oregon State, in its own best interest, needs to deliver the records that were requested. And if they need to, they need to prepare like contingency plans. Like,
so have we
you can't just defect.
Have we sent the payment in for this?
No, because we haven't been invoiced yet, even though it's been now 24 hours since I confirmed that we are on board with the price and to send the invoice. As of this moment.
So they're not expecting that.
Yeah.
Can't get paid if you don't invoice, Oregon State. If you don't weigh in, you don't wrestle.
Yeah.
So did you guys talk about it on the last episode of the article that was written and sort of what the implications are from that?
Which article?
The article that you shared with me.
That all came out since the last episode.
Since the last episode. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, then
our article.
Our article. I've been out of town for the last week, so
Benny's been in work conference mode where time and dates aren't a thing. We've all been there.
No,
I can't believe you didn't listen to us talking on the red eye instead of trying to get sleep, Benny. How dare you?
Or we just lull you to sleep with our whispering.
The whisper back.
Yeah, that would be good. We should do that.
We should just like have a song.
It did work for the Yin Yang Twins.
The whisper song, yeah.
It worked really well for those guys.
It also worked for myself and my roommate, shout out Chris Hughes, doing a whisper song remake.
Chris Hughes, you can come on the pod
for Matt Moore and Kyle Devan.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know where that lives now. I have no idea where that
was. It an actual whisper song? Or it was just
the whole... No, it was the whisper song beat, and it was us whispering raps about Matt Moore and Kyle Devan.
That's amazing.
It's somewhere. And they've heard it. They definitely know.
And they really want it to come back.
And maybe it's on that website you were talking about, Terry. What was it called? Smokethespliff.com?
Smokethespliff.com.
That's it. That's Dat Spliff.
Dat Piff. DATPIFF.com. Okay.
Smokethespliff.com.
This is
who owns that?
This is a part of the this is a part of the podcast where we buy domains.
Yeah.
Oh man, smoke.
Oh, it's for sale, but it's not available. Like it's not available as general purchase. Someone owns it. Yeah.
What website did I go to recently that I didn't know was defunct? And it was like, you can buy this for $10,000. And I was like, no.
Was it to stumble upon?
Yeah, it was stumble upon.
Stumble upon. That'd be poetic. No, it wasn't this. This wasn't what I was looking for, but I was telling a couple students today about podcasting before podcasting was like mainstream, but it was like how podcasts were becoming a thing when we were in college. And JP, you and I, our fantasy baseball podcast, Fantasy Fridays. Yep. And I was like, that's like, that audio is somewhere on the internet because the internet never forgets. And we probably could find it.
Yeah, the internet.
The master sleuther over here, but I don't need to hear that again. But yeah, I was explaining it to the student media days to these youngsters, and I was like, so you have no reason not to have your own podcast. We had one when it wasn't a thing.
Will never forget. Don't worry.
How'd you guys do that? Did you guys have to have a website?
I think we did.
We were putting it on Nick Lilia's website, right? He gave us he was
the nickel block,
or the five. The 5 sides.
And then again, the 5.
It had like 5 different names in 5 months.
Yeah.
I think we did 5 episodes of Fantasy Fridays.
Yeah.
But we did mailbag questions.
That's why they're hard to
questions we just made up and attributed to people, all from Sheridan,
across
Wyoming.
the country.
All from Sheridan, Wyoming. That wasn't planned. That one wasn't planned. I promise. That just popped up. Sheridan from Wyoming. Wow. He's really curious guy, this Sheridan, Wyoming. How many games will Roy Halladay win this year? R.I.P. Roy Halladay.
Who was? Oh man,
what are we talking about?
What was the? Man, who was the guy you were like dead set on? Like, don't forget this guy's name. What was his name? John
Roush?
No, not John Roush. No, it was like a bench player, big hitter, but like couldn't make contact. What was his name?
Was he on the Twins?
I think he was on the Blue Jays.
Boo.
Like never, and I kept being like, never forget the name, whatever. And it was like the most forgettable guy of all time. He like started out like getting enough at bats, and then it was just like gone. It just
never
disappeared.
Never forget his name. Probably. This was around 2011, maybe 2011 Toronto Blue Jays roster. This is going to be fun.
This will be fun. Maybe it was John Roush. No, it was
John Roush
else.
was a closer though. If you're thinking of
this was like a.
Well, that was John McDonald.
No,
that doesn't ring a bell. That doesn't ring a bell. John Roush.
McDonald.
John Roush was on the 2011 Blue Jays. This was 2010 for sure. 2011 is too recent.
It might have been 2010.
Player stats. Who hit near zero? Jose Molina? No. JP Arancibia?
No. Maybe it wasn't a John.
I don't
whatever. Let's move on.
Whatever.
Let's move on to more important topics. Like,
this is just so fun for me.
Trying to look up 16.
Dude, this is naming guys 101.
Yeah.
Name 2010 baseball players until we finally get who I might have been talking about.
16 years ago today, while I was just looking up, maybe it was recent that we did this or something. We did a really, really early fantasy baseball preview episode. But I did find 16 years ago today, I posted on Facebook, of all places, I said, tried to say hi to a kitty, but it was a possum. And that was at like 2:35 in the morning. 2:45 in the morning.
Wow.
I posted that one.
When was that?
16 years ago.
Friday, November 3rd, 2009.
I was going to say, what day of the week? Friday.
Yeah. Well, no, it was like Thursday
morning.
Oh, Thursday night.
After
that makes sense.
Into Friday morning.
That'd make more sense, actually.
Yeah, would it make more sense?
Yeah.
Friday the 13th killer possum that we.
Yeah, I do.
Would you guys say like when we were in college, like the biggest party night of the week was Thursday, and then Saturday.
Oh, 100%.
And then Saturday.
Unless game day, but it was Thursday, and was beat out by game day. But the most consistent was Thursday.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
so weird.
I think I agree.
But also, we had a lot of day games in our early years.
I think it starts with it was every day of syllabus week was the biggest day of partying.
Yeah, it's true.
Thursdays week. Yeah, I think that was kind of the bigger one. It was the function night.
Function night, baby.
Yeah,
just out here trying to function.
Yeah,
funk it up. All right.
Okay,
so we're waiting. We're
reeling it back.
What are we talking about?
What was? Let's talk about the article that came out. Let's talk about it. So, maybe we should start with, for listeners that haven't read the article or maybe even know that it exists, what is the article so they can get this Sheridan, Wyoming joke?
Yes, true. This might be flying over a lot of people's heads. We put it that way.
Yeah, because it's a flyover state. That's why. That's why
it's all related.
That's why you register your anonymous LLCs in flyover states.
That is a good point.
Shout out Wyoming.
So the
beautiful place.
The article stems from research on Monday night. This past Monday, the 10th, I believe, started to look around for other reasons and ended up thinking, wow, you could really look up anybody that owns an LLC or registered business, like anywhere. Even if it's cloaked, you can maybe figure out if there's an association to another entity, like registering an LLC or a corporation. Anyways, I started like plugging in names to the Oregon Business Registry. And after just like putting in familiar names, friends' names, whatever, I was like, wait, what if I put in Brent Blaylock? And honestly, it was that random, but it was also kind of like crossed my mind of, well, all of this stuff has already been, weird. And we've talked about that it's been weird since we first saw the LinkedIn post between him and Rob Sign from Blueprint Sports. So I thought, if there's anything he's doing, right, like maybe there's some business behind it, and just plug this name in, and right away a hit in Oregon. And I'm like, okay, who's on this? Is it actually him, right? Because the site has a very interesting like layout with a, I don't know, like Windows 3 looking interface, and you can click on the PDF and it pulls it up in like a real regular print structure, and it shows you like the full names and how they're involved and everything else. And his name was on there as a individual with direct knowledge of the LLC. And so I think, all right, well, who made this company then? If he's just an individual direct knowledge of, I don't even know what that means at this point. I had no idea. And most of this stuff's kind of bogus, to be honest. Like registering an LLC is almost always done to just clear money for the owners. And there was another LLC that was the member manager and another entity that was a registrant. And the registrant was like Northwest Registered Agent. And I'm thinking that's just a business or something, right? Mm-hmm. But the registered member was Winston, Duke, and Associates LLC. And I go, well, who the hell is that?
Right.
So I looked them up, and I get a hit, of all places, Arizona. And I'm going, okay, what? Like, I got to figure out who owns this in Arizona. And I go look in Arizona, and I see it's registered as a foreign LLC. And the language essentially means like we're not registering here as our origin, but we're registering here as a recognized LLC elsewhere and want to be recognized here on that behalf.
And that would be in the case of like wanting to do business in that particular state.
Right. It's not in your jurisdiction, and you want to just make sure everything's clean, and you go, I'm registering here as a business that's here, but not from here.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, who's registering this? And the sole name on it as a member, not an individual with knowledge of, but a member, which means, an ownership party, is Brent Blaylock. He's the only name. Mm-hmm. So like, I kind of click out of it being like, this is really interesting.
Yep.
And think it took me a bit to go back to it, but it took, like, I was thinking about it and I go, well, okay, well, when did he do all this? I know he worked there and he's worked in Oregon, so maybe it makes sense, right? But when was this registered? And I look at the Arizona one first, and it's registered July 27th, 2023. I go, okay, I know Blueprint had been previously partnered with the University of Arizona while Brent Blaylock was employed there. Brent has denied knowing, he's publicly denied knowing Rob Sign. He's walked it back a little bit, saying we may have been in the same room for a meeting, but said outside of
initial stance was like, I don't know who he is.
I don't know who he is. We've never had any interaction. Yeah. So there's already been that little suspicious block back in my brain. And then all of a sudden there's an LLC registered in both states that he's worked at. And I look at the date, and it's July 27, 2023. And I look up Blueprint, University of Arizona, and I see that they're running the Desert Takeover Collective, or they were running that. And I look up, okay, well, when did that happen? Or when did that collective originate? And it was July 23. 7 days beforehand. And at that point I go, no, freaking way. No way. So I go, well, when did he register this other LLC in Oregon? And it was July 14th, 2025. Now, at the time, it's now been reported since by Ryan Harlan of On3.com, Beaver's Edge, that sources with knowledge of the timelines have told Ryan that Damnation was officially acquired on July 15th, 2025, a day after Brent Blaylock filed and registered the LLC in Oregon. So I go, before Ryan confirmed that, though, I'm still going back and I look and I go, well, what is this Winston and Duke and Associates, whatever LLC? Like, it's a foreign one in Arizona. So where is it from? Is it own anything else? And it had originated in 2013 in with one member that was not Brent Blaylock. Her name was Catherine Russi, and she's on other later documents as well. But at this point, 2013, she's the only one on the Winston, Duke, and Associates. But on June 25th, 2025, they filed a statutory agent update with the state of Ohio, where Winston, Duke, and Associates was originally filed and registered in 2013, to add Brent Blaylock. Well, maybe not add him, but at that point, whatever they had changed, he was now like a signatory representative of the LLC. He was on there just as much as she was. Mm-hmm. That was June 25th, this summer. And then on July 11th is when he created the LLC, a new LLC in Arizona. And on July 14th, he created an LLC in Oregon. They dissolved the LLC in Ohio. And from what I've been trying to figure out, I think they're abandoning the foreign LLC in Arizona as well, or they did. Either way, the Winston, Duke, and Associates was re-registered the same day with the same registering agent, which is all that's required in the state of Wyoming to register a business as an LLC, or really any business, using that Sheridan, Wyoming address that's publicly known to be a spot where people can hide themselves as business owners. Many were using it to, if you look it up, scam people out of money, like literally like legitimate scam businesses. Or there's a big article about a business being registered there that stole a ton of money from COVID relief. So it's like a known address, location, hub for what is reported to be nefarious business practices. Now, all of a sudden, this LLC is registered there that owns two LLCs that Brent Blaylock's name is tied to. That both one, I guess, the Wyoming one now was registered as a foreign one in Arizona 7 days after Blueprint Sports announced a partnership with the University of Arizona, while Brent Blaylock was employed there as the head of institutional control inside the athletic department. And then now, as reported, a day before, Blueprint Sports agreed to the sale terms with Kyle Bjornstad, selling Damnation to their ownership. But what gets, I guess, even so, there's a lot you can throw out there and say this, this is just a timeline, it's a narrative you're building to just suit whatever you want. Well, the part where I started to go, this is beyond coincidence, this is maybe something else that deserves attention, was essentially the fact that both of those new LLCs were named after properties that were registered in the name of Brent Blaylock in Arizona and Oregon. Now, you'd imagine that somebody who would register an LLC to protect their assets of their property tends to do that either as best practice because they've been advised to already, or they know they're at a spot in their careers where they need to, and would do so, when they purchase said assets. Instead, Brent Blaylock and Catherine Russi purchased their home in Tucson, Arizona, sharing the name with that LLC that was registered on July 11th. On April 22nd, 2021, 4 years ago. And then 3 days later, they registered an LLC in the name of their home they've purchased together in Corvallis that they purchased in December. So, one, maybe he just got advice to, hey, now's the time to protect your assets and put your homes in an LLC. And they filed the one in Arizona 3 years where they filed the one in Oregon. And it just happened to be that the other LLC that he filed in Arizona 2 years prior was circumstantially, coincidentally, within the same week is when Blueprint arrived. And all of this activity was just coincidentally within a day of Blueprint arriving officially at Oregon State. There's a feasible defense there. Like, it's inarguable in a way, but also there's, I guess, in my mind, stronger evidence about what didn't happen, about not registering an LLC when you purchase the property. Registering an LLC for a home that's worth $888,000 doesn't really seem like something that's necessary when you're making $250,000 a year. And just the sheer fact that these LLCs were never transferred to be owners of said properties months after they were filed and registered for. And they're still not. So why have two LLCs in two different states that are named after your properties that aren't owning your properties? So they're not protecting those assets. Why do it right around the time that Oregon State, at least in this latest circumstance, is about to partner with, by all reports, a entity that you helped push them to partner with,
that wrote up a pretty poor business proposal where people were questioning why you would give so much
agree to such terms.
Yeah.
Yes. And also, like, beyond all of that, like, what are you doing dabbling with all these LLCs when you're supposed to be our COO of athletics?
Yeah.
Like, you could say they're a side business, and I'm sure after reviewing the code of ethics at Oregon State, that is technically allowed if they're disclosed and they're not interfering with their day-to-day and they're not with any conflict of interest with whatever they are operating to be. But when I asked Oregon State for comment, actually directly messaged Scott Barnes asking for comment, I didn't get a comment from Scott Barnes. I got a comment from Rod Odom, the vice president of University Relations and Marketing, if I'm getting that right. And his comment was essentially like, thanks for sending this over. And, we appreciate your research, and that OSU's University Code of Ethics, as well as federal and state laws and regulations, prohibit conflicts of interest arising from an employee's outside financial, professional, commercial, or personal interests or activities when they affect, could affect, or appear to affect the recommendations and decisions they make and actions they take in their OSU work and responsibilities. We take reports of possible unethical behavior very seriously. This is all in our article that lays out the timeline. It's got links directly to all of the public records that are all timestamped, so you can see it for yourself. But go ahead at belligerentbeavs.com. It's the NIL shadow trail, how an Oregon State officials LLCs moved in sync with Blueprint Sports deals. And it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't. I would say, and I mean, obviously, like, we're just stating what we found, and I think making not conclusions, but really just assumptions of what that would lead us, or at least me, to believe what I'm about to say. But I don't think that the timing can't be a coincidence. And while it's not incredibly difficult to set up an LLC, it does cost money, and there is some obligation that goes along with setting up an LLC. And so,
and there's a lot of intent.
There's a lot. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, you're not doing it just willy-nilly. Like, you have a reason to set up an LLC. And it seems really bizarre and odd to me that you would be setting up 2 different LLCs in the states that you are working in the athletic department of a particular team. And you set up those 2 LLCs that coincide almost directly with signing an NIL agreement with Blueprint Sports. Like, it's not a smoking gun, but
no,
there's something smoking, and it doesn't
it's
look
not
good.
It's not
split that up.
Well, wait till you guys figure out who actually owns that domain. I'm kidding.
Well, it would. I think that if you were looking to funnel money from a kickback from Blueprint, right? Like, I won't beat around the bush of what I think. If you're going to funnel a kickback that you're getting, a monetary kickback that you're getting,
if one were to do this,
hypothetically, allegedly,
not allegedly, hypothetically,
it would be.
If it was me,
way smarter. It would be way smarter to funnel that through an LLC.
If I did it by Benjamin
Lawrence
Sebastian Weehage.
Yeah,
I didn't.
I did. But if I did,
it would be way easier to funnel it through an LLC than through your own personal bank account.
Oh yeah. I mean, you would be immediately terminated if that happened and it was traced to you through personal financial gains. And again, that is how a lot of LLCs can be used, maybe abused, to ensure, financial benefit, tax gain, anonymity. Like, you can essentially be like, it went to the business, not me, but I'm the owner of the business, so I get paid, right? Like, you have a level of separation.
Yeah.
And it does clean up that transaction for anybody trying to ensure that transaction doesn't look directly to them. Yeah. Or if they have a legitimate business, that's how you'd like to report your earnings, right? Like, I mean, that part also makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But what I found interesting was with the response from Rod Odom was not dismissive. It also gave them the opportunity. I didn't message Rob Odom. I emailed Scott Barnes, but it got to Rob Odom, and it was a crafted response, well-crafted response. And I'm sure that's very standard for anyone that's in this kind of hot water,
VP
potentially.
Of marketing, communications for university.
Yeah. Probably had a PR team or more advising, or have had historically advised on how to respond to something like this inquiry.
That's language that they've said for a while. They've
vetted. Yeah. It's known to answer, but not, and protect them.
Yeah.
But again, if these were disclosed LLCs and the university was aware of them, had cleared them and said, they don't break our code of ethics. We have looked into it. We are aware of them. There's nothing wrong with them. He's allowed to do these things because of XYZ reasons. Like, it's his Etsy store, right? Or it's him and his wife's Amazon store. It's his wife's consulting business at their home. They would have said that.
Do you know if Catherine Russi is his wife, or do you know what the relation is?
No.
There?
I don't know. Sure. I've had other people ask. I've had other people referred to her as that to me, and I've said I don't know that. I don't know.
Got it.
But their names are tied on a lot of official documents, public official documents together, and including the home in Corvallis and Tucson.
Nice.
They also didn't even outright say nothing. They acknowledged it. They acknowledged my request.
I don't think they're going to leave you on red again anytime soon. they shouldn't. Like, I wouldn't advise that.
Yeah. Well, I did follow up with Rob, and we haven't posted this anywhere or talked about it, but I didn't feel like that was a sufficient answer. I thought it was a fine answer, and it seemed like he might be coming from a genuine place with it.
Stating we have a policy, we take it seriously, we enforce the policy.
Right. But my question to Scott Barnes was, could you clarify what the university's current disclosure or review process looks like for outside business entities created by athletics staff, particularly those that might overlap with NIL-related responsibilities, as in the staff? It wasn't a armed question. I mean, there was a lot of gravity to it, but the question was
you weren't
asking to clarify. No, I wasn't saying tell me everything you know about Brent Blaylock's LLCs. I explicitly, without even naming Brent Blaylock, other than saying that we have an article, we'd like your comment. Here's the article, which I'm assuming they opened and looked at. Before we publish more or continue to dig. And it was a very easy softball-y-esque toss-up. Like, could you clarify what the university's current disclosures or review process looks like? And he didn't answer. Rob, who I didn't ask the question to, but I appreciate his answer, still didn't answer the question. So I wrote him back again. I said, Rob, thanks for the note and the link, but one process question for the record and a yes or no answer is fine. Were any of these entities disclosed to OSU under conflict of interest or outside activity policies at any point before or after Brent Blaylock's departure? And I listed all 3 LLCs to be clear what I was asking and not vague like the last one kind of was. And I said, if yes, were they reviewed and approved as compliant? And if you don't answer, then I'll just say that you've declined to answer.
Yeah, no comment.
And I'm not asking anything that is against policy and privacy protection. I'm literally asking, was it disclosed to the university and were they reviewed and determined to be compliant? Because it's what this comes down to in a way, are kind of 2 things in my mind. One, it does play back to what we've been questioning for 2 months now at this point, it feels like. But what does the decision-making process look like within the athletics department and maybe even more higher up within the administration of the university?
Yeah.
And is that something that fans can have trust in? Right? I mean, I think number one, that is the biggest question.
Right.
Like, how do we get to the Blueprint Sports deal? Right? What was vetted? What was considered? What options were on the table? And that's why we have the records requests. It's still outstanding, but it's there. And 2, it's just like, if all of this is kosher, say it.
Easy. Right? And that would take just like a little bit of heat off of them too, which you think they would want. If they vetted him, why wouldn't you just say, like, yes, we vetted those LLCs, they were compliant, we appreciate you reaching out? Like, why wouldn't you say that if that was
because if you did, and that's on record,
right? Which means that there would be like a hesitation of if
to
you
agree,
actually,
didn't, or there wasn't the same findings that you're publicly proclaiming.
Right.
That's why the response was very protected, very shielded, very safe. I think for those reasons, I don't think there's much more to find. Maybe there is, but I don't think there's much more that's worth somebody looking into internally and explaining externally than the LLCs, far beyond even how we got into the Blueprint deal to begin with, in a way, because this feels like the root of the issue. It's not the issue, it's the root of the issue. It's a symptom maybe of the issue, or it is the diagnosis of an issue. Either way, like Scott Barnes needs to come out and go, we found that this was happening. And while we were just in discovery around it, determined that we couldn't continue to move forward. And Terry's not recording anymore. But we have found that we couldn't move forward with Brent Blaylock. And in a way to to move on amicably. We came to an agreement for his resignation, or he came to an agreement with us about his resignation. If you say that, like, that goes a long way. But if you say nothing, you're saying a lot.
And I think now they would never do this because they want to protect themselves. But like, as a fan, I don't know if it would be an acceptable answer, but it would be one that I could swallow of like, we didn't know about these LLCs. We appreciate you bringing them to life or bringing them to light. And we are doing everything in our ability to investigate them, understand what's going on, and press charges if need be. Because I don't I would not have thought to look up somebody's name in the database where I could see LLCs. Although, but I'm also not the athletic director hiring people that would work under me, that would be putting together contracts. But that wouldn't stand out to me and be like, oh my God, how did you not check to see if they had an LLC? That would be, to a degree, an appropriate answer. But I think they're so worried about covering their own ass that if they didn't know about the LLCs and now they're wondering what the fuck those LLCs were, that they're just not going to say anything because they're paralyzed by fear right now. And so they want to protect themselves.
Either they knew about the LLCs and they're protecting themselves, or they didn't know about the LLCs and they're protecting themselves. But if they didn't know about the LLCs until we uncovered them, then they're really finding a reason to protect themselves. Like, if they found them a month ago and that's what led to the meet with Brent Blaylock and determine that it was best to go separate ways, say it. Hey, we already got ahead of this. That's why we met with him. That's why we determined that we should part ways. That's why he resigned. Or in the end, he resigned. And we're already out in front of this. But they didn't say that. And also, they didn't fire Brent Blaylock.
Right. Yeah. So there could be some agreement.
He resigned.
Yeah.
And he had a bigger statement. But why is there an agreement?
Why is there what?
Why is there an agreement to let him resign?
Blaylock could have some dirt too.
Yeah. Well, okay, if they knew about this, well,
and
exactly
that would be why. Come on the pod,
Brent, come on the show. Come on the show.
But I am having a hard time figuring out what's worse. Because if they if they were blindsided by us, that's not good. That's bad. But it's also okay, well, you didn't know, and I feel like that's bad, but I don't think it's as bad as knowing the whole time and knowing this whole fucking thing with Blueprint and it's being this deal's gonna look like shit on paper, but we're doing it anyway. Fans will figure this out.
Look, it started. Look, it started with us three sitting here being like, that's odd. That was a weird post on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We're just three doofuses surfing the internet being like, something's weird. And we figured it out. the people we figured out there's something deeper, at least. And the people who interacted with him every day, who hired him, who vetted him, who presumably did background checks on him, none of them saw this to be a potentially conflicting thing, whether it was before he was hired or while he was employed. That's what blows my mind.
Well,
honestly,
I agree with everything he said. I think it is a billion times worse if they knew about these LLCs and didn't do diligence of looking into them more, or if there was just in general, if there was any knowledge of these LLCs that they knew before they agreed to part ways.
He's gonna get that means money, right? He's gonna get some LLCs for us. Mission accomplished. We'll have the biggest NIL budget in the
game. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that would be way worse than if they just found out about it now. That's the best case scenario for them, is that actually best case scenario is that they found out about them and that in some way led to his departure, which would be that there's no way that's the case.
Well, it can't be because he resigned. So why was he not fired for a cause then if they knew about it?
Right.
What negotiating chips did he have to walk out on his terms?
No, that's bad too.
Then it's still bad.
There's no way it's good.
Basically, like right now, as it stands,
it's like The Departed.
In terms of their response,
that's a bad idea we have.
What the possible, well, in terms of what their possible explanations could be, the best one would be, we had no idea about this. We are digging into this right now.
And it's still not very good.
Possible response.
And how do you think you feel, or have fans feel if they hear that?
Yeah, like we have an organization that's being run by people that don't know what they're doing.
And also now Brent Blaylock has resigned. He's gone.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the terms of his departure were, but I imagine he's NDA'd up. I mean, the whole department is, but like he's presumably not he's referenceable at this point. Presumably, he doesn't have a involuntary termination on his record in any way. For all we know, he has a severance, maybe.
It would be
because he wasn't fired. And look, if he resigned, then he might not either. If he truly, purely resigned and just said, you know what, I'm doing something different, I'm going to quit, then he wouldn't have a severance either. But anything in between the being fired, which he was not, according to the acknowledgments by the university, and him outright, in the purest form, resigning and quitting, which it doesn't seem like it was.
He can just go. He can just go on this barbecue-looking walkabout through any part of the country he wants with this severance, fueled by coffee, looking for brisket.
Fueled by coffee.
Not worrying about NIL deals, not worrying about the transfer portal, not worrying about how to, quote unquote, save a program entering a new age conference. Like, all that stress is gone. He's walking out of here in a better shape than anybody.
Anybody. So why and how did that happen? Right. Why and how was he able to walk away? That's the part where it's like something is missing still. Brent Blaylock walked away. The university acknowledged and confirmed it was his choice to walk away. Scott Barnes issued a 8-word sentence about Brent Blaylock, his number 2 in command, leaving. Brent Blaylock got like 2 paragraphs in the press release and the statement.
I need to meet the staff
about leaving and how proud he was about all the great things he did.
There were some decisions made there.
Yeah. So JP, let me ask you this. So as of right now, because I know you're still doing a lot of digging on your end, we're waiting for the records request to come back from Oregon State. But gun to your head right
patiently
now,
waiting.
2 questions. 1, what do you think led to Brent Blaylock's departure? And specifically, was his involvement in those LLCs part of those discussions at all? And number 2, hypothetically, in your opinion, what would, if you were to have to guess, what do you think those LLCs were set up for? Because you've done all the digging, you've done all the research.
Okay.
And if you don't feel comfortable answering that, don't.
I'll go with as much as I'm able to validate that there's evidence, at least evidence narrowing away from, right? So I think that Brent Blaylock's firing or departure, not firing, stemmed from all of the backlash and the perception that it carried from the Blueprint Sports deal. Now, do I think that the perception is only just the angry fans about the terms of the deal? No. Do I think that there's more to what's understood or believed that led to either him deciding to leave or him being told to leave or some agreement of him leaving that benefits everybody? Yes. What those things are, I don't know. But also, the university hasn't confirmed that they knew and don't care about these LLCs because they're clear. So maybe it's that. Maybe it's not that, and it was something else, that he was supposed to be fired for cause and not resign, but he had his own ace up his sleeve. I can't speak for what he said or brought up or negotiated, but I would have that if I knew I was starting to look like my situation was getting rocky. I would have something prepared to be like, well, you want to do that? Remember this? Don't you think, did you ever think about how when you wanted to do that or you executed that thing or like whatever? Like,
I want my severance to be this number.
And again, maybe not. Maybe again, he walked in and said, I'm leaving, no severance. It's just not working. I'm out. What the LLCs were for, if you bought a home, a valuable home, not saying $880,000 isn't valuable by any means, but a valuable multi-million. Yeah. And you were a person within the public's eye, a public figure, your career is complex. You may have involvement with things that could turn south, and you didn't want it to harm your investments, your family, whatever.
Yeah.
Having an LLC own your assets, the majority of your assets, especially the biggest of your assets, which is your home, typically, that's not a bad business practice. It's a smart business practice. But most people do that or soon after they purchase said assets. And most people, even if they do it later, quickly put said assets in the name of these entities so that there's less risk once you've got an LLC formed or something else that could take ownership, a trust, LLC, whatever. If that's formed, if you form a trust to be like, because if I die tomorrow, I want to make sure that my assets are protected. You're not like, well, maybe in 4 months, I'll put my home and my assets in the trust name. Because you're thinking, because if I did this, because if I die tomorrow, right? Like you're not thinking, yeah, I'll get to it.
But even then, you're just putting the person that the house would go to in your will, right?
Or like, but a will can still be disputed. There's a lot. It's not as legally binding as a trust as an LLC.
And I would also say with an LLC, putting your home in, I guess, the name of an LLC, it would be, if you're into like Nefarious, or if you think somehow that your home is going to be seized from you in one way or another, like I feel like it would be more common to put your home in the name of your spouse or in the name of somebody else and not create an LLC for it. Although that would be a way to do it, I guess. But like I get,
if you were worried,
I guess what I'm saying is I understand your point.
Seized, or stripped from you, thus your family, you would do something to get it out of your name, whether that's LLC, whether it was putting the title under somebody else that's a relative or a spouse or a child. None of that happened though. Yeah. So throw with like 95% certainty, throw the asset protection potential out the window. Just throw it out. I mean, I think it's fair with timelines. It's fair for how long the window it's been of purchase to registration to now, and it's still not in the name of an LLC and never had been in the name of an LLC. Like, throw it out. That is not a theory. That is,
and the fact that it's an under a $1 million piece of real estate, like. Not that that's insignificant, but that's typically not something that's done for something that, like you said, is not multi-million-dollar.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be like if he came in and paid cash for the house, 100% cash, maybe, right? Like, okay, he's got $1 million in the house, near $1 million in the house. It's $1 million in assets that's going to continue to grow. So, okay. I don't know if he did or didn't do that, but like, if it's not for the home, then what is it for? And why is it not rolling up into him still, or him and his spouse? But instead rolling up into yet another Shell LLC, that they also moved to a state where their names could be, hidden.
Yeah.
So what was it for? I don't know. I think from all of my research, and not implicating Brent Blaylock or Catherine Rusey or anybody involved with these LLCs and filings and everything else, Northwest agent, whatever. But it is a very common, but it is a very known practice for somebody to create an LLC in the name of their property or reflective of their properties to provide themselves cover and a explanation of what its purpose is without its purpose truly being served. And it's typically done that way to give yourself some sort of out or benefit of the doubt to others who've found out about it or heard about it, were told about it. And usually it's because you're trying to bring in money that you don't want people to know you have, but you also don't have a reason to make an LLC for something that doesn't need that much protection.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you. And I want to be cautious with the way that I say this too, but I don't think that the LLCs had anything to do with his departure. I think that would be too coincidental that you stumbled upon it, and Oregon State stumbled upon it around the same time, or Oregon State stumbled upon them being nefarious in one way or another around the same time. So personally, I don't think that Oregon
not nefarious. They could find it not nefarious, but like breaking of their code of ethics.
They could have. But what I'm saying is like, it would just be too coincidental that Oregon State found out about them like months apart from when you found out about them. It doesn't seem likely to me that Oregon State stumbled upon these LLCs and realized that it broke their code of ethics. So I don't think that had anything to do with why he left. I think like looking at it from, using Occam's razor, I really do think that a lot of it had to do with the heat that he was getting in the press. Like, that's why I think he left, whether it was his decision or the decision of the university, or maybe both. But that, along with probably how he was portrayed within the athletic department from some of the people that we know in the athletic department of not the easiest guy to work with, probably made that decision a little bit easier on both sides. But I personally think that the LLC news is news to Oregon State. I don't think they knew about that. And I would also say that if you're setting up an LLC that is hidden by a layer of another LLC that is located at an address that is used for known scammers, that you probably have money that's funneling into that LLC that you don't want people to know about. And where that money's coming from, I don't know Brent Blaylock's life. Maybe there's something else. But the part of Brent Blaylock's life that I do know about makes me wonder if there was potentially money coming in, possibly from Blueprint, that made that deal more enticing for him to take. And maybe I should rephrase that. If Blueprint was giving him a monetary kickback, it would sure make sense of a lot of the moves that were made that we, along with most of the Oregon State Beaver fans, were left scratching our heads saying, how the hell would anybody in their right mind sign a deal like this? And it had national syndicates coming in and saying, how the hell would anyone in their right mind sign a deal like this? Everyone that looked at that was saying, this doesn't make sense.
People who had no reason to pay attention to Oregon State athletics were paying attention to Oregon State athletics and being like, this deal looks bad.
Yeah. Right. And so when you have
really, Canzano had come out since saying that Kyle Bjornstad was, pushed
pounding the table to let them know. And
he was still pushed into taking the deal.
Yeah.
By the lead of Brent Blaylock, but with the defense of Scott Barnes. And I think the most damning part of all of this then is one, I think that I agree with you, Benny. I think that Oregon State and its aw shucks type of persona it's had for decades wasn't aware, generally, at least is a safe assumption, did not find out until it was surfaced by us. And then it was kind of maybe too late in a way to like actually, like they're almost maybe in more of a stressful situation because they're like, we didn't know this and now it's public and he's already gone. Dude. And there's nothing really that we can do about it.
Yeah. I mean, they could give it to the state and have the state to have an investigation done on him, which should be done if that is actually what happened.
But the part that makes me still scratch my head a little bit about the whole, like, everyone's innocent and also none of this is nefarious or malicious and nobody was intentionally trying to, you know, harm the university, the athletic department, the fan base, the donor base, the student athletes, the students, everything, like, goes back to John Canzano's report as he reported about Brent Blaylock in Oregon State parting ways when he mentioned the email exchange where Kyle Bjornstad had brought to the table an alternate offer with Lockerverse, an offer that by all accounts was more financially beneficial to Oregon State student athletes, Oregon State donors and boosters, and Oregon State as an entity, but yet refuted it with, this doesn't come close to the deal we have. Not worth exploring at all from our perspective. We would like to move forward with Blueprint with your blessing. Why would Scott Barnes say that?
Yeah.
Why would he say that?
That might be what comes down to being the $1 million question is, was Scott, like, what was his role in this? Because for all accounts that we have, that deal was much better than the one with Blueprint. So, I mean, if everything that we think may be happening actually happened, it makes sense why Brent Blaylock was like, no, we're going to go with Blueprint. Sorry. But why would Scott Barnes have done that? That's what doesn't make sense to me.
None of it makes sense.
Unless that's the thing that, I don't know, in that room when Brent was about to be terminated for cause, potentially, it was this is too much noise. This is a big distraction. This is problematic. This was a bad decision. We're terminating you for cause. Go get your stuff. And he goes, hold on, Scott.
Yeah.
Remember, you're in on this too. I'm not saying he is. I'm just speculating around, why would Scott Barnes defend the deal pre-purchase and post-purchase, by the way, and also downplay its importance, its significance in later interviews? I mean, he literally said, like, oh, this is a small piece of the pie of what we're doing, right? Like, I'm focused on like 5 other things and it's only upside. I'm not going to get into the numbers. I mean, the deflection was interesting.
Yeah, you can wait for the blowback to die down if you actually are true believing in the deal that you agreed to.
Yeah, or you could come out and defend it and kill all the blowback in one swoop.
The most logical thing with Scott Barnes for me, I guess, would be that he has delegated this out. He is, for a lack of better term, become somewhat lazy, at least on this specific issue with the contract. And he's saying, this is Brent Blaylock's thing. Brent, you deal with it. If you say that the terms for Blueprint are better, then we're going to go
your mess. There. Go clean it up.
That's what I think probably was going on.
See, but I assumed that, but now you have to wonder, was it that, or was it that in the same way that I think most people perceive it to be, of, I put you in charge of this and you blew it up and it's ruined, go fix it? Or is it, hey, you convinced me to go along with this and now it's backfiring, you're the one to go fix it, right? Like, there's a different connotation between both. I don't know which one is correct. I'm just saying I think it does lend a lot towards either direction now, whereas originally it felt like, why is Scott Barnes not saying anything? And then it became, well, he's probably just sending Brent up because it's been reported that this was Brent's baby to like do this.
Oh, and to be clear, like I'm talking about when Kyle had sent over the proposed contract with the other company,
with Lockerverse,
who was
already part of Damnation, by the way.
Right. And so what I was saying is that Scott Barnes's response of "we're going with Blueprint" was based on him essentially going, "Brett, does this make sense?" And Brett going, "No, we're going with Blueprint." And Scott Barnes just responding, being like, "No, sorry, we're going with Blueprint." And like he didn't even look at Lockerverse's.
I'm sure he didn't look.
Yeah,
that I could say is very feasible.
Yeah,
but why? But again, why? Why was he?
Yeah, why not?
Was he entranced by
Brent's eyes?
Yeah.
Brent's.
It sure seems like he gave him a really long leash, like a longer leash than I think was appropriate.
This whole saga, for months, I've just been thinking about the monorail episode of The Simpsons where Springfield gets the surplus and that guy comes to town and is like, "I've sold monorails to Brockway, Ogdenville, and North Haverbrook," and just seamlessly convinces everyone to give him a bunch of money for this shitty monorail that almost destroys the town. And he just makes off with a suitcase full of money. And I kind of think that's still Brent Blaylock in this situation.
Yeah.
And maybe the monorail, maybe Homer, we still have a Homer Simpson in our community who's going to find an anchor to slow the train down before it kills anybody.
Well, I will say this, Terry. I agree with you 100%. And I feel like that's where I was at prior to JP uncovering this stuff about the LLC of like, it's just this really bad salesman who doesn't know what he's doing. The LLCs, at least to me, help tie together what this story actually could be. Because before it was like, was Brent just really bad at making deals or like what?
Yeah, you
like,
said that.
I understand what happened, but like, why did that happen?
That Blueprint left the negotiation table being like, what just happened? That was got so easy.
Yeah. But this makes
got those
so much more sense to me that there would be some sort of reason. And in this case, it turns out maybe it's monetary, that Brett would have made a deal that was so bad on paper. Like this helps really tell the story to me. And maybe we're totally wrong. We might be totally wrong. If this is played in a court, we could be totally wrong, but I don't think so.
And I would love it if we were totally wrong, because I would love to assume that our leadership is making decisions that are the best for the university, the student athlete, the students, the alumni, the staff, the administration elsewhere, fans all across the country, the globe. Like, I want that to be the case. And I would prefer that a misstep was in pursuit of that obligation to do everything they could for our community and not to be self-serving. But at this point, there's too much evidence to say you can't just omit that it might have been self-serving. Like, you just can't wipe that away.
There are too many arrows pointing to that fact being the case. And like, we've kind of beat around the bush, I guess, but like, if this all turns out to be true, this would be one of the biggest scandals in college sports. If you had a deputy athletic director pocketing funds at the expense of the university, like, that's really bad.
Nothing would surprise me in this day and age.
For sure. And I say that saying like, we understand the significance of what we're saying. Like, we understand that would be a gigantic scandal, but how can you not come to the conclusion of what you were able to find, JP?
And also, how could you not, if what I have laid out is false, come out and just negate every finding.
Someone say it.
Yeah.
Someone point that out.
Yeah.
We need to wrap / move on, but that was a very...
What song do you want us to rap,
thorough.
Terry?
Smokespliff.com. the new website / LLC. Well, speaking of, the words giant mess were mentioned several times in that segment. And speaking of giant messes, Benny, would you like to talk about the last 3 minutes of the North Texas versus Oregon State basketball game?
I don't want to talk about it. I want to hear you guys talk about it. Well, I have nothing to add at this point.
What I can, I needed to make sure what we saw was real, but I keep getting kicked out. Like, my internet keeps failing and I don't know why, but I was looking at the play-by-play just to verify. So I don't have it up right now, but it went something like this. With North Texas hit a bucket, their last bucket of the game, to take a 64-57 lead with 3 minutes left. Okay. Right?
Not looking great.
After that, 64-57, basically their next, Oregon State comes down and misses, and North Texas gets the ball. The next play-by-play is essentially all North Texas. Missed shot, offensive rebound, missed shot, offensive rebound, missed shot, offensive rebound, turnover, Johan Munch, and one dunk, made free throw, 64-60.
Okay.
Back to North Texas, turnover, Josiah Akese, made jump shot, 64-62.
I love that kid. He's going to be fun to watch.
How many missed shot? Because they're 0 for 5 from the field, had 5 turnovers, another turnover, foul, Josiah Lake made free throw. Josiah Lake made free throw. Tie game. Technical foul on North Texas.
Oh.
Josiah Lake made free throw. Josiah Lake made free throw. Missed shot. Game over. Oregon State
what was
wins.
the technical foul for?
The technical foul, Jay, I'm going to need to rely on you here because I did not see this live.
They call a timeout they didn't have.
They called a timeout that they didn't
have. No way. They called it Chris
Yeah.
Webber.
Which is huge because they've been letting coaches get away with this shit and players for a long time.
Yeah,
Since Chris Webber. And what happened, the refs so many times will just act like they didn't hear it, didn't see it. And I applaud the officiating. We talk a lot of shit about officiating, and they got it right. It was
Give them
correct.
flowers when they deserve them.
They didn't have a timeout. Josiah Lake scored all but 2 points in this game from the free throw line. So it wasn't his best offensive game, but he continues to be the face of this team. North Texas is good, y'all. This is not like a shitty loss. It is kind of hilarious the way that we did it, but it literally felt like, man, I really thought we could get this one. And then North Texas just walked away from the controller for the last 3 minutes of the game, and which gave us just enough to get out of there with a 2-point win. So we've had a 2-point win, a 3-point win, and a 2-point win.
Yeah.
Just win your 1-score games, baby.
Yeah. This will help us this will help us as we get into the NCAA tournament and we have those real close games.
You can... There's lots of naysayers out here, and I really enjoyed the last episode of the Peyton Years, which came out before this North Texas game. So I can't wait to hear Sam and Andy break down the madness that was this game against North Texas. But what's fun is, so you have a game against the Ducks in Matthew Knight Arena, where I think we've actually played pretty well.
Yeah.
Historically.
We usually play the Ducks pretty good in general at the beginning of the season.
The next 6 games after that, and it's Oregon State men's basketball, so I'm not making any assumptions. But the Beavs will be favored in the following 6 games, which are all at home.
There's some sneaky good in there.
You'll go in. You have a chance to go into WCC play, stacking some wins. They still got to get there and they got to do it, but they will be the favored team, I think, in every one of those games. And if I'm wrong about that, I owe you a Coke, to make another Simpsons reference. I'm pretty excited, and I'm excited that I'm excited.
Yes.
That part feels good.
We have a chance to win a preseason basketball tournament too. I'm totally forgetting what it's called. The Paradise Jam. Paradise Jam. Every team that's in that.
I want to go play NBA Jam.
I know. Every team that's in that is a winnable game for Oregon State. I think Montana State is sneaky good. Vermont, I think, can be sneaky good. I think Southern Utah might be sneaky good.
Do you remember the epic game we had against Vermont in the 2009 CBI?
Yes.
I remember that we played at the rim for the win.
I remember
that tournament was so fun.
Yeah, that was when we played UTEP at the end in the championship series.
Who was the coach? Yeah.
Craig Robb, baby.
Oh.
Don't think I ever forgot. Come home.
This is for another episode.
Should we leave it at that with notes of Craig Robb, but not for what you think?
Not for what you think.
You know, I'm excited to play. Kate.
Oh, yeah. California Baptist or something? Is that what that is? Yeah. K-BAP.
K-BAP.
Is it a C or a K?
K-BAP. It's a C.
C-A-B-A-P.
C-A-B-A-P.
K-BAP.
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 K-BAP. It sounds like Kendrick when he's riffing.
Yeah.
Bat, boom, ping, pow.
Hey, K-BAP did beat UC Irvine 69. Nice. 61. And UC Irvine's usually pretty good. Or maybe
did you guys see our fee that we're going to pay for our public records request?
Yeah.
The numbers.
Yeah.
The numbers.
Refresh it?
The numbers
refresh our brains.
Are almost
right.
As close to the golden ratio, but it makes up the golden ratio. And I think that is what is the beauty in Beaver Nation rallying to do this, because
they knew
the final cost was 2, 4, 2.
I feel like you're reading Powerball numbers.
Check your tickets, everybody.
We won $2,000 in the Powerball to pay our public records request. It's the lamest Powerball victory in history. Nerds!
But maybe the most significant.
24209.
24260.
Not 2420069. Not
8676309.
20069. Not 420690. It was 2420609, but there's symbolism there.
I heard it was actually 281-330-8004. Hit Mike Jones up on the low because Mike Jones about to blow at La Bamba in downtown Corvallis this Friday. Tickets are $25.
Yeah. Call
that also was 16 years ago.
Oh man, could you imagine paying $25?
That was when we went before JP said hi to a possum.
It might have been the same night.
Actually, you know what I got for $25? Awesome. You know what $25 tickets I got the other day? Tickets to go see Seattle U and Oregon State men's basketball up in Seattle.
Tight.
Their stadium looks really small, but I'm very excited.
Nice. I think there might be another date for the basketball summit that we didn't do last year and maybe didn't do the year before, but maybe did the year before. Remember when we were at Peacock and we got accused of throwing jam at somebody and it was just a Jell-O shot that went rogue? There was there was the weekend we went to Oregon State, Oregon women's basketball, and Oregon
That's like
State,
February.
Stanford. It was in February. It ended up being Super Bowl weekend. I remember I watched Super Bowl your part. Yeah, you were. You came down.
Yeah, you did come down.
You came down for at least a night.
Super Secret producer Skinner Skins.
And we met.
That's where you got the Airbnb
at Gil.
That's where I knocked Terry out in front of the Conga.
Reva. And Terry threw up when we smoked a joint.
I had thrown up like
thatspliff.com.
Yeah, I was rallying though.
Thatspliffhard.com.
Right after that, I was like, let's reenact the photo at La Conga. And yeah, you were there, Benny.
Yeah,
I don't know. Okay. I don't think you made it to. I think there was a women's game on Friday.
You went to one game,
and then men's game on Saturday. You made
you went to the women's game
on Saturday.
Yeah, because you guys went to the women's game, and that girl was making fun of you on her Snapchat, right?
Yes,
I was not there.
That was the oldest I've literally ever felt in my entire life, and it was so sad. Well, I mean, the atmosphere on Friday was sad because we lost to the Ducks, but it was like a meaningful Oregon State women's basketball Civil War game against the Ducks, packed house at Gill. And then the next day, this was a year after the Elite Eight year, when the Beavs are just on like a 27 game losing streak against like a bad Stanford team. And it was us and Mel Counts and like nobody else in Gill. It was just us chilling with Mel Counts watching this game that I guess meant something, but didn't actually. And I'm just glad that we have eclipsed the win total that team had at that point in mid-February at this point.
I'm pretty sure that was the game where we took a picture that was then turned into a puzzle that was then put onto our merch store.
It was.
Yeah.
I think that was from the women's game, though, because
that was the hardest puzzle to put together, by the way. There was so like many pieces that were just pieces. Black. Yuri and I did it, and it took us so long to put that puzzle together.
The Babies We Are Family puzzle. We might need to remake that one. You can probably not find that puzzle still, but other great stuff at belligerentbeavs.com.
I think it's still there.
belligerentbeavs.com/merch. We could probably bring that one back easily. Maybe apply it to a lower piece count puzzle. Is that a quick back end merch store update that we can do?
A 16-piece puzzle just for Benny.
It's one piece. It's just a poster, but tell him it's a puzzle so he feels good.
A cardboard poster.
belligerentbeavs.com, belligerentbeavs.com/merch. Like, subscribe, rate, review, share the show with a friend. Give us 5 stars wherever you get your podcast. I'm doing it out of order, but I don't care. Follow the entire show for gosh darn sakes at Bellig Beavs on Twitter and at Belligerent Beavs everywhere else. You know, Instagram, Facebook, Red Note, RedTube, and others. I was trying to.
Nice.
What's JP? What's a website for looking up LLCs? Is there just like a Facebook for business bros? I guess that's LinkedIn. We're on LinkedIn too.
We are on LinkedIn, I guess.
We are on LinkedIn. We're kind of on everything.
sos.oregon.gov.
Zillow too.
Oregon State's shouting out an SOS right now.
Our Wyoming properties on Zillow.
Our studio that we're recording from live together with different virtual backdrops to represent.
SOS by Rihanna on the Spotify app. That's a Belligerent Beavs production. Yeah.
Find us on SoundCloud.
I have been Terry Horstman at Terry Horstman on Twitter and at Terrence Horstman on Instagram.com. Joined as I always am by my best fucking friends, Benjamin Lawrence, Sebastian Weehage, a.k.a. Benny with the good cough, a.k.a. Benny Bowl Game, but not fucking this year, a.k.a. Benny Burner, a.k.a. Benny Blastoff, a.k.a. Benny Bedlam, because he's fucking crazy, folks. And at Benny L, 1986 on your social media channels. And the man steering the ship in the right direction and doing all of the deep digging in all the ways. Don't want to see what
bodies.
You have
info.
So many shovels in your shed.
Yeah,
in your goddamn shed. Get off the goddamn shed.
He is turning into Keith Morrison as we watch him right now.
JP Bertram at the Trill J on Twitter. That's at the _Trill_J because he's too trill to be real and too real to tweet from that account anymore. So just follow him at Bellig Beavs, baby. And at JP Bertram on Instagram. Be excellent to each other. Support the Beavs no matter what. And remember on this day in November that no matter what they do, no matter what they say, no matter what they take away, they categorically cannot spell ChopEm without hope. So ChopEm.
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 Beavs back, baby.
Smokeaspliff.com, baby.